me just start the today's session. Before that, so let us recall few things about the testing. So what is the need of the testing? Like why we are doing the testing? So any idea on the testing?
To check the errors in the to check the error in the website or software which we are making.
Okay, to check the error in the software. So any other answers?
To find bugs in our application. We are ensuring the quality
Okay, so ensure the
before
quality.
delivering, yeah, before delivering the application to the client.
Okay, fine. Okay, so let me just take an example. Okay, so hope like everyone are using the WhatsApp. Okay, so in WhatsApp, so let us take the feature called as in chat. So everyone on the daily basis, like we used to do the chatting. So while doing the chatting, so what are the things you have observed? So for example, so whenever the user is in offline, so how it appears, like it will be like kind of an single tick. So when the user is in online and if it try to send a message, like it will be like kind of an double tick. So in the meantime, if the user has read the message, like it will be kind of blue tick. Okay. So with the tick mark, so we will be ensuring the delivery of the chat. So now the question here is like, so who has defined that? Like if the user is in offline, it should be appear as a single tick. If the user is in online, it should be of a double tick. If someone has read the message, it should be in the blue tick. So who has defined that?
Client has defined all these requirements.
Okay, so basically, like we will be having the person called as a client. Okay, so from the client, okay, so we will be gather the client need. So which is nothing but we will be creating something called as an requirement document. Okay, so this requirement document is created by the person called as an business analyst. So with the help of the business analyst, like we will be creating the requirement document and all the information will be available in the requirement document. So based upon the requirement, the development team will develop the application. So once they develop the application, so we testing team, so we call testing team as a QA or QE. So that is a role which you are going to working on. So QA means like it's a quality analyst or we call it as a quality engineer. So the role of the quality analyst or the quality engineer is like to test this feature. So we call it as a functionality. So like in a WhatsApp, like we will be having a number of functionality, so we can state the status functionality or like call functionality or the payment functionality. Like whenever we take an application, so each and every application will have a number of functionality and we are going to test the functionality. So the reason why we are testing the functionality in the sense, so because like we are going to ensure whether it is working as per requirement, because like the requirement is specified and the developers are designing something as per requirement, which means whatever the things the development team has developed, it should work as per requirement. So in other aspect, as part of testing, like what we are going to do in the sense, like we are going to test the functionality of an application by comparing with the requirement document. Okay, so why we are checking the functionality in the sense, as someone has mentioned, in order to ensure like that there is no error in a software or to deliver the quality product to the end customer, so we are doing the testing. So assume that if the WhatsApp is having many issues, so let's say you are trying to send a message to your friend, but I'm sending the message today, but if it is delivering to the other user on next day, and the next person is reverting back and it is delivering me after 8 hours or 10 hours. So in this case what happened? So like no one will use the WhatsApp. So the reason why we are using the WhatsApp in the sense, because like we are doing the instant chat. So how we will be ensuring like the instant chat is working fine or not in the sense, so like we will be having few requirement in which they will specify how this chat should work. So which means like they will be mention each and everything in detail. So like if the user is in offline, like it should be a single take. If it's online, if in double take, if I read the message, it will be in the blue tick. So all the information will be available in the requirement document, and as per requirement, like the developers is going to develop an application, and post development, so the testers, the quality analyst is going to ensure that there is no issue in the application. So how they will ensure in the sense, like they will check the functionality of an application by comparing with the requirement document, or in other terms we can say they are going to test the behavior of the application. So how the application going to behave. So in other aspect, like if you need an easy understanding, so let's say like you are planning to build a house, so you may have some idea to build a house. So what happened, like whenever we have an idea, so we will explain an idea to the civil engineer. So suppose that the civil engineer like will do some design for us, and he will show the design, and if we are satisfied with the design, then the construction begins. Okay, then post construction, like we are going to verify whether the civil engineer has built the house as per design. Okay, so that is like we are going to do the final check. So like the person who gives an idea, so we call them as a client. Okay, so the technical name of the client, we call it as an stakeholders. So from the stakeholders, so the civil engineers gathers an idea and they build the design. So how for the house construction this flow work in similar way in the software industry. So the client will have some need. So from the client, the business analyst, there is a person called as an BA. So we call them as a business analyst. So the business analyst will gather the relevant information from the client, which means they will understand the client need, and they will build something called as an requirement document. Okay, they will be creating the requirement document, and we will be reviewing the requirement document with the client, and if the client is okay with the requirement, then the developers will develop the application. Okay, so one post the development activity is completed, so we are going to ensure like whether the developer has developed the application as per requirement. So how we are ensuring here, like whether they have constructed the house as per the design. In similar way, like we are going to ensure like whether the application is built as per requirement or not, which means so the testing is done in all industry. So it is not only specific to the software industry, it is applicable to all and each and every industry, like even in the manufacturing sectors, if they are going to manufacture any of the product, so post doing the quality check, they will be delivering to the end customer. So why they are doing the quality check in the sense, so because one and only if there is an quality, so the customer will purchase the product, or the customer will use the application, so that the business, the client business grows. So in order to ensure that, they will be having the QA team so to do the testing activity. So this is the high level introduction about the testing. So does anyone have any doubt on it? Testing. Okay, so this testing can be done in two ways. So one we call it as an manual testing, and other is like automation testing. So manual testing in the sense, so we call it as an physical validation. So what is mean by physical validation? So let me just take any of the web page. So let me open the web page called as an login.salesforce.com. So in this web page, like what I'm going to do, I'm going to enter the username and then the password. And after like entering the username and password, I'm going to verify the error message as I'm going to enter the incorrect username. So let's say I'm giving the username as ABC and the password is 123 and I'm clicking on the login button. So post performing the action, I'm getting the error message. So the same error message will be mentioned in the requirement document, and we will be cross comparing with the requirement document, and we will be verifying so whether the error message is matching with the requirement document or not. And how we are doing this validation in the sense, so with our eye, so which means like the physical validation is involved. So whenever the physical validation is involved, so we call it as a manual testing. And also like whatever the operation we have done, so we have entered the username and we have entered the password with the help of the keyboard and the mouse. So which means like I'm manually injecting the data. I'm entering the ABC and I'm entering the password, and then I'm manually clicking this login button, and post that it is triggering, the application is triggering an error message, and I'm verifying the error message. How I'm verifying the error message in the sense with the help of the physical validation. So whenever the physical validation is involved, so we call it as an manual testing, or in other aspect like wherever the manual intervention occur. Okay, so the manual intervention in the sense like we are going to do some action. So whenever the user inject an input and verify the things manually, which is nothing but the physical validation, we call it as an manual testing. So whereas like we are going to verify the same error message with the help of the coding. Okay, so whenever we are going to do the scripting, so scripting is nothing but so we call it as an coding. So whenever like we are going to do some coding, and with the help of the coding, like we are going to verify the error message. So if the coding is involved, so we call it as an automation testing. So this is just a high level introduction, but there are multiple reasons like why we are doing the automation testing. So there are various reasons are involved, so like I will be explaining those reasons in the upcoming session. So which means so manual testing is nothing but so where we are going to do the physical validation, so whereas automation testing in the sense like we are going to check the functionality of an application but with the help of the coding. So whenever the coding is involved, so we call it as an automation testing. And as part of our training, like we are going to learn the automation testing. And how we are going to learn this automation testing in the sense, like we are going to do the integrated learning. Okay, so what is mean by integrated learning? So in order to do the coding, like we may need to have the knowledge of any of the programming language. So here as part of our training, like we are going to use something called as an Java. And then like we are going to test the application. So the application can be available in various form. So various form in the sense like if you see like where I have opened this login.salesforce in the sense, it is like in my web browser, so which we call it as an web page. Or in other aspect like we can take this Prime as an example. So Amazon Prime as an example. So we can open the Amazon Prime in web page, which means there are different form. So one we call it as a web page, and we can open the same Amazon Prime in a mobile application. And also like in my laptop I'm having the uh, Prime desktop application. Okay, so the application can be available in three forms. So either it can be of an a web page, or it can be of an in the form of mobile apps, or it can be like kind of an desktop app. So whatever the forms which is available, like we should ensure like it is working as expected. Okay, so you could see like the Prime is available in a web page, and also like in our mobile either from the like Mac Store or the Play Store. We used to download the Prime Video, and at the same time like I'm having the Prime in my Windows as well. So which means the same application can be available in the three forms. So in order to like in order to do the testing of the web page, so we need help of the tool which we call it as an Selenium. So which means only with the help of the Selenium, so we can inject the input. So here how I have inject the input in the sense like I have inject the input called as an ABC with the help of the keyboard. But whereas like in terms of an automation, like we are going to inject the input with the help of an tool called as an Selenium. So which means like we need the help of the Selenium as well as in order to do the coding, like we need the help of the Java. So we are going to mix the Java plus Selenium. So which means as part of our training, like we are going to focus upon the web page application, okay, web pages. So in order to automate the web pages, like we may require the Selenium. And in similar way, like if you are planning to learn automation for the mobile automation, then we may require a different tool called as an APM. So whereas for a desktop, we can say so UFT. So like these are the different tools to automate the different forms. So as part of our training, like we are going to like stick on the Selenium. So and how we are going to learn the Selenium in the sense like with the help of an integrated learning. So in the real time, like we will be clubbing the code of say Java and then Selenium inside something called as an framework. So like hopefully this framework will be the new term for you guys, like in the upcoming session, like I will be explain like what is mean by framework. So at the high level, so you can have an idea like in order to do the coding, like we need the framework, we need the Java, and then we need the Selenium, and we are going to learn these three things together. Okay, so we are not going to learn the Java separate, or we are not going to learn the Selenium separate, and we are not going to learn the framework separate. So the reason why we are learning all the things together in the sense, because whenever we learn like something separate, so everyone aware of the concept, so they know okay, this is how like we need to do the coding. But what is a lag happening in the sense when it come to in real time, so no one is aware when and where to use the respective concept. So they know the Java, but they don't know where to use that Java concept. So in order to avoid the complexity, so based upon my experience on training the various batches, so I come up with this integrated learning. So with the help of an integrated learning, so we will be covering all the concept as well as like you will get to know the usage. So which means when and where to use the Java, what where to use the Selenium, and how to use the framework. So you will getting the package, the complete package knowledge. Okay, so that is why like I have introduced this approach called as an integrated learning. And like whatever the all possible example I can include, so I will be including various example, and I will make sure like everyone is able to understand the Java, Selenium and framework, because the end agenda is like at the end of the session, so you guys should create the framework from the scratch, and you guys should you should automate this entire web page. So like whatever the web page we are going to pick, so you guys need to automate the entire web page. So in order to automate the web page, like we need a tool called as an Selenium. So what is meant by Selenium in the sense? So Selenium is an web page automation tool. Okay, so it is not a web browser automation tool. So browser in the sense we call Chrome and Edge as a browser. So which means like we are not going to automate the browser. So whatever the URL which we are opening in the browser is called as a web page, and we are going to automate the web page. So that is why like I say like the Selenium is a web page automation tool. And why we are specifically using the Selenium? So don't we have any other tool in the market? So like whenever I ask this question, like why we are using the Selenium, so the common answer which I receive from the student is like they will be explaining like it is kind of an freeware, or someone will tell it is of an open source. Like of course the Selenium is a freeware tool, so we don't need any license and it is available as a open source. Okay, so the but if nowadays like in the market, so each and every tool are available as a open source. So even if someone is offering us the free of cost, so why everyone, each organization is sticking with the Selenium in the sense because of its features. So what are the features like the Selenium has in the sense? So the first thing is like it supports multiple browser. So which means what is meant by the multiple browser in the sense? So like when you have a write the coding, so you can run your automation script on various browsers, like you can run in the Chrome, so you can run in the Edge, so like in the Firefox, or else like we can say like the Safari, etc. So the reason why the Selenium is offering the support of multi-browser in the sense, because in the real time, like we need to ensure the cross-browser testing. Okay, so what is meant by cross-browser testing in the sense? So even if we take this Prime Video, so I can like use the Prime Video in Chrome, and you may use in the Edge, and some may use in the Mac, which means like in the Safari browser. So wherever the end user is opening this particular web page, so it should like work as expected. And how we will be ensure in the sense like we will be doing the testing. But when we try to do the testing manually, so like we need to open for easy understanding. Let me pick this login at Salesforce. I need to like open this login.salesforce in the edge, and then I need to repeat the same thing, like I need to manually enter the like username, and then I need to enter the password, and then I need to click on the login, and then like I need to verify the like error message, which means like we are rechecking the same thing in various browser. But when it comes to an automation, like when we develop the coding, so we can run the coding in various browser like Chrome, Edge, Firefox and Safari without any changes. Okay, so with the help of an automation, we can trigger the run over various browser, which means like we are achieving the cross browser testing. So the first feature the Selenium offers in the sense it supports an multiple browser. So multiple browser in the sense we can run our automation script or automation coding in various browsers like Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and the Safari. And the second reason is like it supports multiple programming language. Okay, so what is meant by a programming language in the sense like in order to like type the coding, like we should have the knowledge of the programming language. So like there are multiple programming language like Java, like Python, so JavaScript, so C sharp, or like Ruby. Okay, so like these are the like a different programming language which are available in the market. So in the Selenium, we don't have any restriction stating that like you should use this particular programming language. So in the market there are many tools like there will be having restriction like you should use only the Java or we should use only the Python. But whereas in case of an Selenium, so like if you have the knowledge of the Java, yes, you can use the Java with Selenium. So if you have the knowledge of the Python, you can use Python with the Selenium. So we can pick any programming language of user choice. So whatever the programming language which you are aware of, you can use the same programming language for the coding. So that is the another feature of the Selenium. So the Selenium supports multiple programming language. So whatever the programming language the user is familiar, they can use the respective programming language for doing the automation, which is nothing but for doing the coding. So as part of our training, like we are going to stick with the Java, like we are going to learn the Java and we are going to integrate the Java with the Selenium. So if the time permits, maybe at the end of the session, like I will be show you like how we can like use the Python for an automation as well. So that like in the future, like you can upskill yourself. Okay. And third thing is like, so it supports multiple operating system. So operating system in the sense, so like hopefully like everyone are using the Windows, so it will work on the Windows, or even if you have the Mac, yes, it will work on the Mac. And if you're using the Linux OS, like even in the Linux OS it will work. Okay, so which means like the Selenium will work on Windows, Mac and Linux. So there is no restriction. So only because of its features, like we are using the Selenium, which means like irrespective of any browser, irrespective of any programming language, and irrespective of any operating system, the Selenium will work. So that is the reason like every organization or every industry is preferring the Selenium, and not because it's just a open source and a freeware, but because like everyone are choosing the Selenium because of the features. So I'm repeat the features once again, like it will supports the multiple browser, it supports multiple programming language, and it supports multiple operating system. Okay, so till this point, does anyone have any doubt?
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
sir.
so now as we need to do the coding, so we may require some tools. Let's say, like as I told, like we are going to use, okay, Java, and then with the help of the Java, like we are going to do the coding. So initially, like we need to install the Java. So how we are going to install the Java in the sense, like it is pretty simple. Like open any of the web browser and open a new tab and search with the keyword called as an Java download. Okay, so once you search with the keyword, like in the suggestion, like you will be able to see the Oracle website. So I will be mentioning this same URL in the notes, and at the end of the session, like I will be sharing this notes as well. So like once we navigate to this official web page, so whenever we are installing the Java, so we should install the LTS version of Java. So what is mean by LTS in the sense, like you can able to see, so LTS is nothing but we call it as an long term support. Okay, so we should use the LTS version. So currently there are two LTS version which are available in the market. So one we call it as an Java 17 and other version is Java 21. Okay, so you can able to see, so the Java 21 or Java 17 are available now. So either you can use the Java 21 or the Java 17. Okay, so it is purely user choice. So whatever the version you need, you can download it up. So like for example, if you are going to download the Java 17, so you need to select the Java 17 tab. So once we select the Java 17 tab, so there will be three tab called as an Linux, Mac OS, Windows. So these are nothing but the operating system. So if you are using the Mac, so like you can select the Mac and install. So if you are using the Windows, like just click on the Windows and post clicking on the Windows. So you should select the second option called as an H64 installer. So once you click on this H64 installer, and if you click on this download link, so some particular file will be get downloaded. So post completion of the download, like we need to start the installation. Okay, so this is the first thing. So like you guys can just download the JDK version 17 or 21. So in case like if you have the Java already in your system, so you can check the version of the Java. So how you can check the version of the Java in the sense, so like open the command prompt. Okay, how we can open the command prompt in the sense, so just search with the keyword called as an CMD in the search bar. So in the search bar, so just type CMD. So the command prompt will be populating. So it will be like kind of this black screen. So just open this command prompt. So inside this command prompt, type the command called as an Java space hyphen version. Okay, so what is the command we need to type? So Java space hyphen version. So everything should be in the lowercase. So here in the command prompt, I'm just typing so Java space hyphen version. If Java is present in your system, it will detect the available version. So here I could see, so it is like detecting my version. If Java is not present, so like then it will show you the comment stating that Java is not a recognized internal or external comment. If you receive this error which indicates Java is not present in your system, you need to install. And even like if you have any other version, so make sure like you are having the LTS version. Or other way of ensuring like whether the Java is present in our system or not, so you are aware like whenever we install any of the software, so it will be installed in the local disk C. So I'm just navigating to the local disk C, and under which like we'll be having the folder called as in program files. And if you open the program files, you could be able to see the folder called as in Java. If the Java folder is present, it indicates Java is available in your system. If it is available, like just open the Java folder and check what is the version. So in my system, I'm having Java 17, Java 21, and Java 8. Yes, we can install like various Java version as well. So while creating the project, we can point to the required Java version. So even if you have a different version of Java and if you need to install the LTS version, yes, go ahead and install. So your system can hold various versions of the Java. Okay, so make sure like how you guys do the installation in the sense. So the installation is like pretty simple. Like once it is downloaded, it will be kind of an like exe file. I think still it is not completed, I guess. Yes, it's completed. Then why it is appearing? Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
I have 17, so do I have to install
No. If you
21?
have the 17, yes, have it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So once this exe is downloaded, so just right click and then like click on run as administrator. Okay, so whenever you're installing any of the software in your system, so make sure like you're running as the administrator, and it will be asking some pop-up. So just click on the yes button. So on post that, the installation activity will begin. So while doing the installation, so don't change anything. So whatever is like populating as default, so with the default setting, so just click on the next button. Okay, let me see like whether the installation window is opening or not. So still it is loading. Okay, let the installation window open. Yeah, it got open. So now what happened, like it shows the installation window. So what you guys need to do, you need to just click on the next button and pause that don't change anything as I mentioned. So don't change the path or anything. So whatever it is populating by default, so just click on the next button and pause that. The installation will begin, and once the installation is done, so the Java will be available in the local disk C under the Java folder. Okay, so now let it get installed. At the meantime, like let us download another software. So here we are going to do the coding. So in order to do the coding, like we may require some tool. So let's take an example, like if you need to do the presentation. Okay, so if you need to do the PPT, so if you need to do a presentation, like we will be using the PowerPoint. So we will be opening the PowerPoint, and inside the PowerPoint, like we will be started creating our ideas. Okay, so we will be using the PowerPoints, and we will be will be starting our presentation work. And in similar way, like if you need to create any document, so what you will be used to do, so for creation of the document, so you will be using the Microsoft Word. So we will be searching the Microsoft Word, and in the Microsoft Word, like we will be typing whatever the things we required. In similar way, like in order to do the coding, okay, we may require the tool, so which we technically called as an IDE. So IDE is nothing but we call it as an integrated development environment. Okay, so we call it as an integrated development environment. Okay, so we need to use the IDE. So what is the IDE which we are going to use for our training is called as an IntelliJ. Okay, so there is some tool called as an IntelliJ, and we are going to use this IntelliJ IDE for doing the automation coding. So like in the Google, so just a search with the keyword called as an IntelliJ and just click on the first link. So I'm just navigating to the official web page. Okay, so I will be attach the URL here. So pose that, like just click on the download option. So once you click on the download option, like you could be able to see the version called as an IntelliJ IDE Ultimate. So this is like kind of paid version. So don't install this, because like if you install this after 30 days it will ask for license. So rather than downloading the paid version, so scroll a bit. So here you could be able to see like a IntelliJ IDE Community Edition. Okay, so we should download the IntelliJ IDEA Community Edition. Okay, if you just click on this EHC button, and if you click on this download, so again the download will begins. So at the same time, like hopefully the Java may have installed successfully, and let's check whether the Java is installed successfully or not. So he could see like it will shows the installation as pass. So for me it is showing the fail, because like I'm already having the Java in my system, so it is showing as fail. But in your case, like if you guys are trying out, so once you just click on the next button, it will be downloading the Java, and it will be show the success message, and you can ensure whether the Java is downloaded successfully or not by navigating to the local disk C, and under the program files, like you could be able to see whether it is downloaded or not. So the question here is like, so are we not using the Eclipse IDE? So in a market, there are multiple IDEs available. Okay, let's say like we can say, so there is something called as an Eclipse. So one I highlighted, so which we call it as an IntelliJ. Another we call it as an like Visual Studio Code, and then like we are having something called as an PyCharm. Okay, so in a market, like a number of ID is available, and even so the choosing of ID is like purely user specific. But the reason why I have like specifically chosen this IntelliJ in the sense, because like this IDE is using in real time. So the majority of the project will use the IntelliJ. So what is the advantage over the IntelliJ in the sense? So whenever we type the coding in an IntelliJ, so it will give some suggestions, and with the help of the suggestions, so like we can increase the speed of the coding. So whereas like in an Eclipse, like we need to type everything so manually. And other thing I need to highlight in the sense, so like whatever the IDE whatever the IDE, so the user is going to use, so only the look and feel is going to change. And apart from that, like whatever the structure we are following or whatever the coding we are integrating, so everything remains same. So maybe like at the next session I will install the Eclipse. So while creating the project, right, I will install the Eclipse as well. I will show you like how we are creating the project in an IntelliJ, and how we are creating the project in the Eclipse, and post that like whatever the coding part which we are doing up will be remain same. So whatever the IDE you are using, so the coding will be remain same, and based upon the project, like we will be using the appropriate IDE. So pretty much in the real time, so majority of places, so they will be using the IntelliJ, as it is like very user friendly when compared to the Eclipse. So that is why like I am sticking with the IntelliJ rather than Eclipse. And like whatever the tools which I'm going to pick, so everything will be like up to date market, or either it may use in the like up to date projects. So on that basis, like I will be picking the tools. Okay. Okay, so now like you guys can like do the installation of the IntelliJ as well. So just a right click and just run as an administrator. In similar way, like while like installing this IDE, so just click on the next button. So don't change anything. So and then after installing, make sure like in the search bar, if you search with the keyword called as an IntelliJ, so this IntelliJ logo should be appear. So these are the two things like you need to install. And apart from this, like you need to install one more thing, so which we call it as an Maven. Okay, in a real time, so we always create a Maven project. So we won't create a Java project. So maybe the word Maven may be new to all. So as of now, like let's do the installation, and in tomorrow's session, like I will explain like what is the need of the Maven. So why we are creating the Maven project, and we can see its advantage and everything. Okay, so we should have Maven in our system. So like how we can download this Maven in the sense. So just go to the Google and type Maven download. Okay, so I'm just clicking on the Maven download. So here, like click the first link, official web page called as an Apache Maven. So I'm just copy pasting the URL in the notes session, and I will be sharing the notes as well. Now, so once you navigate to this official web page, here you could able to see different sections like system requirement and files. So under the file section, like you could able to see something called as an binary zip archive. Okay, so there is something called as an binary zip archive. So you need to download this file, and it is not a exe file, it is going to be a zip file. So whenever like we are going to install something in Windows, so it will ends with the extension called as an exe. So one and only if it is of an exe file, we can install the particular software in a Windows. But in other case, like if you say if you take an Android, so the Android extension will be like .apk. So likewise, so the zip folder extension will be like .zip. So whenever we are installing it as a zip, so we need to unzip it. So let me just download this zip file. Okay, so once you download this zip file, so and make the version number as well, make the note of the version number. We are using the Maven version of 3.9.6. Okay, so now let it get download. So once it is download, let us unzip it and place it in the local disk C. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, in the local disk C, I'm going to create one folder called as an Maven. Okay, so I'm giving the folder name as an Maven. So once it downloaded, I'm going to cut the zip file. Okay, this is the zip file which is available. I'm just going to cut the zip file, and I'm going to place this inside the Maven folder. Okay, so I'm just pasting the zip file over this folder. So once it is pasted successfully, I need to unzip it. So the reason why we are unzipping in the sense, because like we need to extract the files which are present inside the zip. So we need to extract the file, and how we will be doing the extraction in the sense by unzipping the zip file. So I'm not sure like why it is taking this much time. So let us wait till it copy to this local disk C. basically it won't take this much time. Let me try to redo the same operation once again. So in the local disk C, I'm pasting it up. Okay, let it get paste. So once I unzip, I will provide the sufficient time for the installation. So we can try out the installation, and if you have any issues, like we can have a look on it. Hmm, why it's taking this much time? Or rather than cutting, let me copy this. Okay, so like I have just copy the zip file. So inside the folder called as a Maven. So now I need to unzip it because like if you see the type, it is like compressed zip folder. So we need to extract the files from a zip. So you can right click over the file and you could able to see the option called as an extract all. If you just click on the extract all and then the particular path will be appearing. So click on the extract button. So whatever the files which is present inside the zip, so will be unzip and it will be present over here. Okay, so let it get unzipped. So totally like one or two files are available inside this Apache Maven. Okay, so now it is unzipped successfully. So you unpause that. If you don't need this zip file, we can delete this zip file. And if you open this particular Apache Maven, so there will be another folder called as an Apache Maven. If you open it, inside which like you will be having some folder called as an bin lib etc. So whenever you are installing any of the new software, so even like if I go and open the Java, so like inside the folder we will be having this folder called as an bin and lib. So these two folders will be available so whenever you are installing new software in our system. So in our case we are not installing the Maven, so just we are extracting the Maven. So just we have unzipped the Maven and we have placed the Maven in the specific folder in our system. And then before installing, so make sure of the system requirement. So if you are using the Windows, so make sure like you are using Windows 8 and above. So preferably like you can use the Windows 10 or Windows 11, and make sure like the operating system should be like 64-bit. Okay, so you should not use the 32-bit operating system. So you try to use always 64-bit operating system, and make sure like you are having 8 GB RAM. So even like 4 GB is fine. Like if it is of an 4 GB, then there will be a bit lag. So if it is of an 8 GB, so it will be very easy for us to execute the program in our system. So this is the system requirement we require. And in case of a Mac, so like basically the Mac configuration will support the all the installation. So you don't need to worry about the specific versions or everything. Okay, so till this point, does anyone have any doubts? Sorry, I don't have the access to unmute. So if you have any doubts, please ping me in the chat.
So after this session, you can just
Yeah, now
install
you
it.
can install it. So that is what I told, right? I will now I will give the time. So I will be give the time of 10 to 15 minutes. So try to install. So Windows 7 preferably not to use because many things will won't work in the Windows 7. So try to use in Windows 8 and above. Okay, so now I am providing you guys the time. So you can just do the installation. So try to install the Java and as well as IDE. And if you have any issues, please let me know. So once you have installed successfully, then we can move on to the next part.
So for Maven, I have to create a Maven folder in C drive and then I have to copy paste from
Yes, correct.
downloads. Okay.
Okay, so if you have done, please wait. Like let us give the 10 minutes of time, or if you need a break for 10 minutes, just go ahead and come back. Okay, so I will resume this session at 8:10. So just 10 minutes of break. You guys can okay, so I'm just providing the 10 minutes of break. So in the meantime, everyone please complete your installation, and if you have any other issues, we can discuss after the 10 minutes.
Hello, sir.